They just want you to sit in your chair and go, hip hip hooray, for the Western press and the Western narrative. Regurgitating the same old, every single day, without exception. Please watch the first series, the first 2 episodes, the second series. Look at that.
Absolutely fascinating.
And it was the first time the Beatles had really stopped being semi-professional almost.
I'm just a poor boy from Liverpool. I'm just a poor boy from Liverpool.
Good evening, everyone. It's the Yesterday Show tonight. Yeah. And I've got Anthony Brown with me. If you don't know who Anthony is, Anthony's a clairvoyant. He gives all kinds of, if you went to him, he'd tell you your future. It's unbelievable. And people think that it's Anthony Brown, the artist. No, it isn't. It's Anthony Brown, the clairvoyant. Unbelievable. And I'm going to bring him on now. And there he is.
Thank you, Francis. You say? Yep.
Clairvoyant.
I woke up with that feeling because I said to Lane, it's going to chuck it down today. And it did. On, off, and on. So I'm painting away like a light bulb that's flickering. And I'm in the kitchen and Lane's saying, what are you doing? Making a cup of tea because it's chucking it down.
Exactly.
That clairvoyant.
It's not when you say to Laney, can you make a cup of tea? And someone will ring you up and just say, I'm having a cup of tea in about 10 minutes. That's your clairvoyance, you see.
That's right. Well, I can tell you something else clairvoyant, which doesn't take a clairvoyant to say. I think King Satsuma is going to regret picking a fight with his Mexican brethren. Because I don't know which is going to happen first, decapitation or crematorium.
Yep. The thing is, you see, everything's kicking off, isn't it? Do you know what I can't make out? I'm wondering if our chattel was a grey here. Right. Russia went into Ukraine. Just hear me out and listen. Russia went into the Ukraine because Russia had been asking the West, will you stop this genocide that's going on in the Oblast of Donbass?
Yeah.
And they were asking for 8 years. 8 years. So anyway, Russia said, if you're not going to go in, we'll have to go in and save these people. So they went in. Okay, now, everything with Russia has stopped. You can't fly to Russia freely. You can't go to a library and pick up Chekhov or whatever, Tchaikovsky music, if you know what I mean. You can't go to a ballet and watch the Bolshoi ballerinas, coming over from Moscow to perform. You can't do that. Every single thing in literature has been banned. Everything. All the arts has been banned. Also, all the sports have been banned. Everything has been banned. They can't compete in anything. There's America. They went into Venezuela, kidnapped their president and his wife, and flew them out to America to stand trial.
Yeah, battered them.
Right? Yeah. Then they were talking about, yeah, they did, because that lady has a terrible big black eye and everything. It's terrible. Then Greenland. They just said we're taking Greenland. They even said to, well, it was Trudeau at the time, when he was president or prime minister, whatever they are over there in Canada, you're going to become our 51st state. They're doing regime changes. Everywhere you look, there's regime changes. They're going to go to war with Iran. They're going to go to war with Iran.
Insane.
Yeah. Now, the thing is, there's their football team getting ready to play in the World Cup in America. They've just won a gold medal at the Olympics. Ice hockey. You see what I mean? So why haven't they been banned? And that's the point.
Yeah.
They're kicking off wars everywhere.
Yeah.
Everywhere. They've just gone into Mexico.
Yeah.
And, well, I don't think they went in, but they gave intel about this fella who's just been assassinated. But now the cartels are going to kick off in Mexico.
Absolutely.
It's ridiculous, and this is all America. People are dying, and he's wanting peace prizes.
Yeah. You've got
And this
Palestine.
Rush band. Go on, sorry.
You've got Palestine. You've got Ukraine.
Oh.
Got everything else that they are laying claim to, which is insanity. And for some reason, the Western press seems to be, oh, is that the time, Frank? I've really got to look elsewhere.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. And, as you mentioned, Ukraine, they're at war, a proxy war with Ukraine, with Russia. And he's wanting peace prizes. He demanded it, didn't he? He demanded the peace prize.
Yeah.
I want the peace prize. Nobel Peace Prize.
Yeah.
Nothing's been banned or anything about the United States of America. It's shocking. They're going to take Greenland or part of it. They're going to take it. Anyway, let's see what... Sorry about all that, but...
Well, do you know what? Back to that line we've said a couple of times, and you read so eloquently the other day about Charlotte Bronte, when the gain of life is not life, but it's to amass the wealth and the status. That's not changed, has it?
No. And don't forget the church as well.
Absolutely.
There's a mask.
Bang on.
And the poor. She mentions the poor.
Yes.
There's no place for the poor.
Yes.
Think about that. It's just the way it is, Anthony. It's just the way it is. The world today.
Do you know what, Frank?
The start of Great Expectations. I'm sorry. The start of Great Expectations.
Yeah.
You've got Magwitch, and he's just escaped from jail, and he's hiding, and he sees this young lad coming along. So he grabs the young lad, and he turns him upside down, shaking him to see if any money will drop out of his pockets. At that precise moment, Pip, who's the young boy, his world is turned upside down.
Yes.
That's how it starts. The whole of the Great Expectations. As
Yeah.
Wales turns upside down. An incredible start. And this is what the world is like today. It's upside down.
Just what the heck Dickens and Blake would make of today and the others.
And Tolstoy, when he
Yeah.
said, history
Yes.
would be a wonderful thing if it was true. Because what he's talking about is propaganda.
Yes.
Because you're not getting the full truths.
No.
That's what it's all about. It's like poems of the First World War. If I think only this of me, that there's some corner of a foreign field that is forever England. There shall be in that rich earth a richer dust concealed, a dust whom England bore, shaped, made aware, gave once her flowers to roam, a body of English breathing English air, blessed by the suns. So that's all patriotic. Brilliant it is. Brilliant. You even have Shakespeare that was Rupert Brooke. You'd even have Shakespeare coming out and saying, this sceptred isle, this precious stone set in the silver sea, this fortress built by nature for herself against the envy of less happier lands, this blessed plot, this earth, this realm, this England, this teeming womb of royal kings. You put that and Rupert Brooks together, that's so patriotic. Yet you've got the likes of Ivor Gurney's 2 lines of his poem, he's gone, and all our plans are useless indeed. You've got 2 lines of Anthem for Doomed Youth by Wilfred Owen, the great Wilfred Owen.
Yeah.
What passing bells for these who die as cattle.
Yeah.
So it fits everything into truth and propaganda. Sorry.
Yes, absolute. And of course, to quote Shakespeare, which is heavily in our media today, hell is empty, all the devils are here.
You can't make it up, can you?
No.
You cannot make it up.
No.
And these are the great writers. These are the great men that and ladies that put pen to paper.
Yeah. Would you, as an eminent historian yourself, would you include these ladies and gentlemen that we talk about, literature greats, would you include them as historians?
Yeah, very much so, because you just mentioned about the great Charlotte Bronte. How did she know about the wonderful? Let me just get this, please. Just let me get this. I bet you I can't read it now, but yeah, because I haven't got my
Yes.
glasses on.
Have a go at mine.
I'm useless, honest. And it's only what you said there. Right. I'll try and read it. Right. I was born in 1820. I just got a bloody message over the fucking thing. You wouldn't believe it. You can't make it up. Anyway, she says, I was born in 1820. A harsh time of change in England. Money and position seemed all that mattered. Charity was a cold and disagreeable word. Religion, too, often wore a mask of bigotry and cruelty. there was no proper place for the poor or the unfortunate. And that's 1820. That's 120 years ago. That's
That's
220 years ago.
today, where the church turns its back on the disabled and the poor.
Yes.
Well, we can't do that.
Yeah.
Come, 4 Hail Marys and you'd be better. I don't think so.
Yes. And don't forget as well, Anthony, that going back then, a poor person couldn't go into a church for the service. And it wasn't until, believe it or not, in 1814, a fellow named Thomas Rickman, with his friends who owned the Mersey Iron Foundry, built St. George's Church on the hill, in Everton.
Yes.
And Rickman said, what I'm going to do inside this church is to build, to make way, rather, and put a little line of pews at the side of it so that the poor can come in to a service. That was the first church ever to do that. So the poor could go in. And you've only got to go back to the great William Blake. The great William Blake, where he says a little black thing among the snow, crying, weep, weep in notes of woe. Where are your father and mother say? They have gone up to the church to pray. So while they're in the warmth of a church, they're sending their little boy out
Sweep
to
chimney.
sweep chimneys to get money in. A little black thing among the snow crying, weep, weep in notes of woe. Because if you think of a child, they can't pronounce the S's. Crying, weep, weep in notes of woe. You see?
Yeah.
Instead of sweep, they can't pronounce it. So that's how young the little child is. And don't again, what he says is a little black thing. He's unrecognizable because of the amount of soot on him. He's a little thing. There you go.
That must have been harrowing at the time. And it remains as harrowing now.
Yeah. Let's see what our friends have been saying now.
Yes.
TW, good evening, Frank and Anthony.
Good evening, TW.
And he carries on by saying, like and subscribe on your way in. Thank you, T. You always say that. Thank you, mate. And yeah, look, here he is, Paul McDonough. I used to chat with you in the White Star pub. Now, there's two of us here. Is he talking about you, Anthony, or is he talking about me?
Talking about me?
I don't know. Did you used to go in the White Star?
I did nip in and out, but I was never there long. The longest I was there was when I was with you, me and Lenny, and you and Francine.
Yes.
And you introduced us to the manager. It was a lovely guy.
Yeah, Alfie.
Wow, that was 1852, 56. Paul, if it's me, hello again, but it's more than likely to be the main guy.
You know who Paul McDonough is, by the way?
Yeah. A fellow.
He's a Beatle. He plays John Lennon.
Yes.
He sings like him, looks like him.
Yeah.
And when he's on stage, he acts like him, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
all his mannerisms.
No, that's brilliant. No.
That's the fella who said 2 years ago, I'm coming up to see you. And I went, oh, great, okay. Phones me up, I can't get over to see you today. I'm going away a week. I'll be over in about, I'll see you after a week. Okay. Every time. Doesn't come.
Welcome, Paul. We love you. You're one of the good ones.
Anyway, CW, I can remember Mystic Meg.
Ah, it's all in the tea leaves.
Mystic Meg. The poll says all roads lead to Benjamin Netanyahu and billionaire Zion's.
Yeah.
You're so right.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're so bloody right. And Steve Evans, my old mate, Steve. Have a good one, fellas. I'm just watching, I swear, Jog the Fat Blair Warmonger on proper. Jog the Fat Blair Warmonger on proper bellend. That's our Steve for you. And the poll says, Polo says, Mexico next year, Frank. It's the world next year, if there's a world left, because with Iran and what's going to happen there.
I think you've made it. They have made a massive mistake with Mexico. Massive.
They have. They have Toscana, Buonasera, Franco, Anthony, and Shatters. Well, we certainly live in interesting times. Yes.
My angle on it is hug the ones you love, be with the ones you love. I gotta turn off from the rest because it's crippling what's going on.
It is. And little Linda Ellis. Evening, Frank and Anthony.
Evening, Linda. Hope you're well. And you, Toscana.
And little Donna Taylor. Good evening, Frank and Anthony, and all you good people. Isn't that nice?
That is a wonderful way to start the night, Donna. Good evening.
And my old mate, Steve. More like this septicile. This teeming words of perverts and no marks telling us what we can and can't do, and we have to be subservient to these fuckers. I never swore at me.
That's sheer poetry there. That's if Shakespeare were with us now, that's exactly what he'd have said and how he'd have put it. And it's bang on, that Steve. Bang on. Oh my gosh.
He says it as it is, though.
Yeah, that's what we want. That's what we want. These efforts being escorted out in plainclothes police cars. Round them up, lock them up.
And Christopher says, hey, Frank and Anthony, and everyone, like and subscribe. Thank you, Christopher.
Thank you, Christopher. We like you and we like tonight. Thank you.
And Stephen Mulholland's, my old mate, Stay. He says it as it is. It's funny, when I was doing the podcast, you know, the match.
Yeah.
What you like? He came on and he said, I was going to go down to the Chinese New Year. He said, so I thought, no, I'll stay in and watch the match. And he called the match for everything. Missed a good day out, he said, watching this garbage.
No one.
Bad it is. And he says, hi, Frank and Anthony. And chat. I was in the Lucian's Crypt on Friday afternoon, all day and Saturday, volunteering in the Camera Beer. Oh, would you know? I've
Wow.
been there when that was on.
As a taster, I would love that.
Do you know what, Anthony? I went there, honestly. I've only ever been once. And I went in, and there was this. I know it's the Czech Republic today, but it was Czechoslovakia before it became the Republic. So,
Yeah.
anyway, I was looking at this stuff, this beer. And I went, so I was looking at it, it was a bit cloudy, that, you know. So, anyway, the fella said, it's very good. You like. I'm pointing at it, you know. So Frank picked this I like up, and I went like, oh, lovely. Oh, lovely. So we got it. Frank ended up like, show me the way to go home.
Well, I mean, I haven't drank beer for years, but that's the problem with it. You taste the beer and it's, oh, that's nice. That's easy.
Yeah.
Gassy. No, that's great. Knock it back. And then, wow, like the Roscoe Head and all dispensary in town and some of them pubs. Oh my God, one leg works and the other one doesn't.
That's what I was like. That was that camera thing. That's why I only ever went there once.
Wow.
And I brought a girl along as well. And I didn't impress her one iota. She threw me in a cab. Tell them where you live. That was the end of my big romance.
Oh,
And,
it's a good impression on your first date.
honestly, should never have gone. Someone said, get up there, it's great, you know. Oh, blimey. Anyway, Polo says churches were for only wealthy or scholars. Yeah, you're so right. You're so right. And the T says, good evening, chat. And Jeanette says, hiya, guys. A favourite book of mine when I was at school, girl, was Hey Benny. Oh, yeah.
Hey, Benny, yeah.
Hey Benny.
That's
I
one
think,
that,
I'm sorry, go on, mate.
that's one that's stood the test of time, hasn't it, really?
Yeah, Hey Benny. Yeah. Yeah. And it gets overlooked, really. It gets overlooked. Steve Evans, St. George's Church is one of 3 ironclad churches in this country. 2 are here in Liverpool, the other being St. Michael's in the hamlet. Yes, you're right. The same architect and the same John Craggs who gave the iron infrastructure stay.
Yeah,
Good show, that.
yeah.
And Donna says, Frank and Anthony, can you tell us about the League of Well-Doers and Lee Jones? Lee Jones was, I'm just going to go down here. I'll get right back to you about Lee Jones, because Lee Jones came from, do you know what? I don't know whether it was Warrington. No, it was Warrington. And he wanted to be in the clergy. And he came to Liverpool, Lee Jones. And he looked around like other people have looked around and became great people, great philanthropists. And he looked around and he went, and he started to help the poor. And he opens up this like place, a place, Lee Jones's. And he was giving kids dinners. Kids who were running around in rags. and he was feeding them, and he got girls in as nurses because, back in the day, you're talking at the start of the 20th century, and there was lots of glass and rubble in the roads and on just everywhere strewn about, and kids were running out barefoot. There's a song called Barefoot Days, and these kids were running around in the bare feet, even going to school in the bare feet, and cutting themselves, standing on glass or whatever. And disease, the infections got into them. Lee Jones got these girls in with medical things to clean the wounds up. That's what he did. He opens up a little, not a cafe as such, but, he put tables and chairs there to feed the kids. And he bought a horse, a cart horse, so that he could go around to homes giving out the food. And the taxes, he wanted to tax the horse. He was helping charity, and he wanted to tax there's loads about it. Lee Jones and the League of Well-Doers.
What were those years, Frank?
Sorry?
When was active? What were those years?
Oh, the years when he first came here.
Yeah.
You're talking about 1894.
Oh.
And he spent all his money. He hired a redundant warehouse up in Lambkin Lane, cotton warehouse. It was redundant, so he got that. As I said, he bought a cart, he bought a horse, but the horse had to be taxed. He said, I can't afford it. The money he had to be in the clergy, he spent on Lee Jones, is what we call Lee Joneses today, the League of Well-Doers. So he never ever became a clergy. That's what kind of a person he was, Donna. Beautiful man.
Wonderful.
Lindsay Ellis, christened in St. George's. Well done. Well done, Linda. Ricky Tomlinson's parents were married there. And Cedric Lopez, the most exotic name on any stream that I do. History time, big up, chat. Hiya, Cedric.
Cheers, Cedric.
They're all letting on, look, they're all letting on. That's lovely. It's really lovely. Well done, people. Let me go through these, Anthony. Steve Evans, sure it was only 2 ironclads. Yeah, it was. Len. Steve Evans, third, the other down south somewhere. But we had the first. 1814. And St. Michael's in the Hamlets was 1816, 2 years later. John Rickman and John Craig. First ever iron infrastructure building. Oh, hang on. Polo says, Frank and Anthony, which modern writers do you recommend? I tell you, the modern writers, I like John le Carre. I think John le Carre's brilliant.
I think he's because he writes from fact as well, doesn't he? Because he was in it.
Oh, yeah.
So, like with Dickens, and it's observational. I kind of like. There was one popped up before this one, which I thought was which northern writers do you like, which modern writers. What's modern?
Well,
It's like modern music. There's nothing,
yeah.
nothing. I like that's modern music because it's all derivative of well before you and I were kids. You know,
As I said, you know, John le Carre, he stands out. You know, people like Steinbeck, and I don't like American literature. I'm sorry about that. If there's any people
just,
who like American literature, I don't like it at all.
I I have a passion for northern writers, in particular the likes of Clive Barker, who I got to read in the late 70s, early 80s, who was a Liverpool lad, writer and illustrator, famous for his horror stories. But you and I both have a passion for short story compilations, something that can move you in.
Christopher Dolly is the best for all the short stories, as you know.
Yeah,
Can I just say something about Clive Barker, by the way?
yeah,
I was, when I was younger, right, um, a lot younger, I used to go to, you know, the Arkles, because that's where my one's parents lived up by there.
yeah,
And we used to go to the Arkles every Christmas day, you know,
yeah,
then go back for the dinner. Yeah.
yeah.
And I used to play badminton with a lad in there, I forget his second name, named Mark. Lovely fella. I used to play badminton with him. Anyway, he was in there this day. He said to me, he said, well, are you going for a drink on Christmas? I said, yeah. I said, normally I go to the Arkles and have a drink there. He said, okay. So I'll see you there. I said, smashing. So anyway, I gets there Christmas Day. We're there, and she's talking to her mates and relatives and whatever. And I sees Mark, and Mark calls me over. He said, I want to introduce you to my brother-in-law, Peter. Well, he just said Pete. I went, oh, hello, Pete. You know, shook his hand. And he never said, he just said hello. So as I was talking to him, you don't know this, do you, Anthony? Never told you this.
No.
He's just looking at me like that. And then he goes, must have goes to loo. Then as he comes back, he's looking at me from the side, you know, like that, looking at me.
Like a
Well, looks,
movie.
you know, looks at I said, are you all right? And he sat down. Honestly, God, this is through this. They were doing Clive Barker's
Hellraiser.
Hellraiser. They were
Wow,
doing it.
that was a big one.
And he was looking at me. And he said, have you read of Clive Barker? I said, yeah, he's a horror story writer. He said, yeah, precisely. He's a good friend of mine. He said, I'm the screenwriter for a film coming out called, it just said, right?
Yeah.
And I said, oh, yeah. He said, why I've been looking at you? And he said, have you noticed I've been staring? I said, yeah. I said, I thought you were like a funny fella. He said, no, Matty, to her. He said, I'm not a funny fella. You know what? And he said, you'd be ideal for a part in this film. Would you like to have a part in the film for a certain character, you know? I was asked to do that. And I said, no, thanks. Hellraiser. I think it was Hellraiser 2, quite so sure.
I just loved his short stories. At the time in the 70s, 80s, 90s, when I was working and playing and doing all this stuff, it was like I didn't really. It sounds horrible, but I didn't have the time to devote to a bespoke big book. So I dip in, dip out on a train, on a bus, going wherever. And Clive Barker's Books of Blood, I think were the first ones that came out. Every single one of them, like Stephen King, every one of them had a life of its own. And, you know, some of them.
Yeah, he was a Scouser, wasn't he?
He was a
He was a
Scouse, yeah.
Scouser, was
I'm not sure whereabouts in Liverpool he's from, but I think he lives in America now. I'm not sure. But
yeah, he does. So does Pete Atkins. And when you see, the screenwriter, I tell you, Pete Atkins, right? He was asked by Francis Ford Coppola, I'm going to believe this, to
oh,
do the screen thing for for what was it? Anyway, Al Pacino was in it as well. It wasn't like The Godfather or anything, but he was asked to do that. Was it Heat? No, it wasn't Heat. I forget what that was, De Niro. But anyway, Al Pacino, he said, "No, I'm doing this thing. I'm doing the screenplay for Clive Barker." He was asked. That's how good he was. He lives in the States as well. Pete Atkins.
well, we breed them.
Little Amby. Haven't seen her for ages. Hiya, Frank and Andy. Hope you're all both well. I lost my account for a while, but it's okay now.
Good
Well,
evening,
I'm glad
Andy.
Amby. Glad you're back, sweetheart.
Yeah, both of us.
Exactly. Because, we do miss people. Stay Evo. Frank, has one eye in Bootle and the other in Birkenhead. On the ale there. Yes, that's it. That's it. In Canberra, right.
Yeah, yeah, in the beer festival. Yeah, as you do.
Just mad. And
Christopher.
yeah, Christopher was. He said during the pod, he said, "I'm going to the Chinese New Year. That's a great day out in Liverpool. Chinese New Year celebrations, art, culture, food, and history, and a few pints. But missed the match. You missed nothing. You missed absolutely zilch." And John had, if you volunteer at the Craft Beer Festival in St. George's, you can have all the beer you want, says Donna. I volunteered, and that ale is naughty, and that's all that I remember.
Oh, forgive me, Father, for I have sinned.
And little Linda says, my mum and dad married in St. George's. That's nice.
That's nice. That
That's
is.
nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is my little girlfriend, Lauren. Good evening, Frankie and Mr. Anthony Brown.
Oh, good evening, Lauren. I always get a bit wary when I get the full title of something. It's like my mum. I only got Anthony from my mum. Everyone else was Tony. And when I got Anthony, I thought, oh my God.
I'm in trouble. Do you know what me Lancy Lear always called me? Carlyle.
Not first
That's what
name.
she called me. Carlyle. It's Carlyle. She was our posh one.
Well,
It's Carlyle. And if done anything, wouldn't go on a message, say Francis, go on a message for me. Okay, Auntie Lee. We'll go on the message. Then it's back to Carlyle. And Zona says, I heard that the first X-ray was performed in St. George's Church. Sounds bizarre. The very first X-ray was here in Liverpool by a chap by the name of Thurston Holland in Rodney Street. The very first one, Donna. And Laura says, I have school tomorrow and I'm nervous. Oh, Lauren, don't be nervous of school. Don't be.
don't be. Go your own way, Lauren.
Is it a new school you're going to, or I don't know. I don't know whether you're a schoolgirl or you're a teacher. I don't know. But you're saying that I have school tomorrow. But don't ever be nervous, even if you're a student. Never be nervous. You could be a little jittery if you're a teacher, you know, be first time going in. But listen, Lauren, honestly, sweetheart, I'd given a lecture to 240 Royal College of Art surgeons. I've given a lecture, believe it or not, to over 300 international architects. I've given a lecture to 250 lawyers. And you've got to have the confidence to go in and express yourself. And knowing you, I think you could express yourself very well. Whether you're a student or whether you're a teacher. So don't be nervous, honestly. Don't be nervous. We're all behind you. Every one of us. Get back to you on that, Laura. Just bear with us. Just got to read this out. Ligiano. Even in Frank and Anthony, what a great time in Belfast. So much history. Went to the Titanic Museum. It was brilliant. Managed to buy myself a jumper. Went to the prison.
Was it that bad? The jumper?
He never bought it. He nicked it. And he got collared. No, that's not going to stop me going back. Back again next week on my second flight. Photos have been posted on my Facebook. I envy you going to the Titanic thing, to be honest.
Good one, Lee, yeah.
Polo. Frank, can you ask Anthony who is the portrait on his left?
That is Joseph Mallard William Turner, in progress. So granted, it could be looking a bit like Steptoe's our fella, but I kind of shouldn't really leave them up, but they're all inspired by what we do together, like here tonight. So it's kind of work in progress. And
can you explain that, Lee, what we're going to do in April?
Okay. Well, for a long time, I've avoided anything to do with the arts, certainly exhibitions and galleries, spaces, and stuff like that. I kind of had my fill of them, and But when Frank and I started to talk with you guys about the influence of literature and some of these gigantic people in history, I I just had an incentive to paint some of them, not all of them, some of them. But Frank and I talked about it in between our programs together, and what's basically happened is Port Sunlight Village, which is a wonderful historic place, and Frank has talked quite a few times about Lord Leverhulme, who devised and had built Port Sunlight Village. They have got a place that they would like me to exhibit in. So that gives me, and in partnership, Frank, the opportunity to present some works and do something with them. So we go in April and we're there till the end of August into September. So there will be days where the both of us are there and we will talk about the people, Joseph Mallard and the others, Charles Dickens, Charlotte Bronte, William Blake, all of these people that have influenced both of us. Yeah. And that was a great boost to our friendship. We've been friends for years, and I forget what day it was or what the occasion was. We're probably out, probably at a beer tasting festival somewhere. And Frank and I talked about different people who meant a lot to us. And it transpired that they meant a lot to me and they meant a lot to Frank. And that kind of bonded our friendship, really.
It's what you call connections, you see, because what we do on here, we connect with you.
Yeah,
Every single one of you good people have read a book. Every single one of you have read a book. And this is what I mean about people. This is what I mean about people who, how can I put it? Connected. It's just, look, people from the past connect with us. I love the classics. I really love the classics of English literature. I love Shakespeare. I really love Shakespeare. And when you think of Shakespeare, and then you think of, let's say, William Blake and, Charles Dickens, for example, Charlotte Bronte, they all connect, but they just don't connect. Then, at the time, they connect with us hundreds of years later from Shakespeare.
yeah,
Mid-19th century. Mid-19th century with Charles Dickens. It's incredible.
yeah,
If we were French, put it this way, and you read the Marseillaise, for example, and someone would say, well, who wrote that? How did it come about? How did the Marseillaise come about? Who wrote it? Now, the point is about the Marseillaise is that someone had just sat down, a lady, wrote it, and people in Marseille made the way all the way from Marseille, no trains then. You're talking the French Revolution. So they made the way on horses, carts, you name it, and they got to Paris. And they went through Paris singing the Marseillaise. And that's how it became their French national anthem. So it's great things like that in history that
It's
should be put out.
inspiration,
Sorry?
the inspiration which drives us all in different ways. Um, to be inspired by something is magical, you know. And us and our chat family are not inspired by the obvious day-to-day world that is falling apart in front of our eyes. We're inspired by things that move us, people that move us, events that move us.
Absolutely. And Lee Jones has just sent in the photos.
Ah,
Yeah,
Belfast.
yeah. I don't know what I think it's a label. I think it's his jumper, but the label of his jumper. Oh, hang on.
No. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
That
Yeah.
cool.
That's brilliant. I was commissioned, one time to do a piece of art for the Titanic Quarter, which was to be hung from the ceiling. And I did drawings and stuff for it, but unfortunately, that's the way things happen. It never happened. Yeah,
Yeah, it is. Look, in its full glory.
beautiful. Yeah.
I reckon if he wore that, properly, it'd weigh him down. That was a bit of humour.
Yeah.
If he wore it, would it weigh him down? Can you see that?
Yes.
Big anchors, never mind.
A mess of anchors.
I won't crack any more stupid jokes. Hang on. Steve Evans sent a message and he said, I just swore on your post. We'll go for a break in a moment. I'm a student and tomorrow is the first day of half term for me. Don't be nervous, please, Lauren. Don't be nervous. You've got lovely people. Look at Donna. She says, Lauren, stay happy. I hope you have a good day.
Good advice, because that is the most important one. Stay happy. Deep breath, stay happy. Don't let no one take your shine.
No. And Droopy's with us. Evening, Frank and Anthony.
Good evening, Droopy.
Right, I'm going to go to break here, and I'm gonna leave you with this thing. Okay, we're going to go to break, and it's Polo. He says, Anthony, has anyone? Don't mention it yet. Don't say that. Anthony, has anyone famous bought your paintings? That's all. So just leave it, and we'll go to break, and hopefully I can make myself a cup of tea. These ferocious looking beasts are the guardians of St. George's Hall, but they haven't always been here. Say my friend Leo, for example, he's got a huge mane, he's got a tail, huge paws, but one thing he hasn't got, and his mouth's open, is a tongue. So why would anybody sculpt 4 fantastic lions and not give them tongues? Here's the reason why. It was designed so that these lions were at the base of a fountain, and this is where the water was going through. The idea was that the water would come through the lion, through its mouth, and that's why it hasn't got a tongue. they here? Well, obviously, the fountain was never built down in London. We brought them up here to Liverpool, so now they are the guardians of St. George's Hall. So the next time you pass on the bus, take a look into the lion's mouth. This is the finest neoclassical building in the world, designed by Harvey Lonsdale Elms. Back here in the North End entrance, we revert back to the Greek theme and the replica of the Elgin Marbles frieze, and of course, the Corinthian columns. The statues in here represent the Greek theme, except for this gentleman here in the middle, Henry Bood, who represents the railway and his invention of the couplings that brought carriages together. Unfortunately, young Elms died 7 years before the hall's completion. His mentor, Professor Sir Charles Cockerell, had taken over the design of the interior, and as you can see, it's Roman interior. Cockerell based his design on Emperor Caracula's or Caracalla's steam baths in Rome. The magnificent hall is the home of the Willis organ, and it was the finest of its kind at the time when it was put in 1855. Even the present day, it's still very impressive. The chandeliers that are suspended from the Roman galleys depict the North Star, Neptune, ships, and the liver birds. What a lot of people don't notice is that sculptors and engravers leave their mark. Just have a look at this one here. If you look closely at the angel on the back of her head, as beautiful as she is, she has a Christ-like figure looking skyward. The concert room is one of the most elaborate theatres one can imagine. One of the greatest admirers of this theatre was none other than Charles Dickens, who gave his readings to his audiences. As the audience enjoyed Dickens, what they didn't know was that the stage was full of illusions. Each and every one of these columns is not made from stone or marble, but made from paper. In fact, paper mache. And again, these wonderful nymphs that keep up the balcony, what are they made from? Again, are they made from marble, stone? No, just a few bags of plaster of Paris. And another illusion is the dome
but is it really a dome? Because when you look through the mirror, you can actually see that the dome is actually flat. What was the reason for all these illusions? Well, it simply boils down to cost. Even during the period this was being built between 1842 and 1854, this grand building still had to maintain its budget.
Amazing. I played music in that hall, you know, the Dickens room, concert room, for the very first wedding that they held in modern times. Yeah,
That's
I was,
brilliant. Though.
yeah.
And
It's,
you
it,
know that when you opened your exhibition, you got hold of me, didn't you? You said, Frank, come along. And I went, okay. And you went like, hey, you're giving a talk, you know. I said, what? I had to give the talk on the opening of the exhibition. And I went,
I
okay.
said, do us a favour, Frank. But that was kind of, do us a favour, Frank. You're giving a talk, and you just went, okay. You were suited up. We were all suited and booted.
Well, I actually
Well,
couldn't let it out. Like.
you know the place better than anyone else. You know the history of the place. I'm glad you mentioned it because it's quite poignant because there was a lot of our family, Lainey's mum and dad. You know, sadly, we didn't have my mum, but we had my dad, and my family had never ever been into the hall because the problem is with our precious buildings that you're not invited in and you're not made welcome, really, are you?
No.
So it's a hard one for us to say, oh, that'd be beautiful. I'll go in there, and we don't do it. And that night, well, the week or so before, when they said to me, where do you want? So the main hall was where the heads were going. And I just said, everywhere. Anyone who's not been to the hall, I want them to be able to walk up and down the corridors, go to the concert room. What's going to go on in the concert room? Well, we're going to formally announce it open, and our dear friend Frank Carlyle is going to give a speech, which you didn't know about at the time. But
It's it's really good because when you're talking about the hall, and I went up to give a sound check because I was given a talk there,
yeah,
and all the tickets went in the concert room. So anyway, I goes up and I'm going along the balcony in the hall itself, and I'm walking along and I sees this group of people, and they're looking up at something, by the organ there.
yeah,
So anyway, and they were looking, and they were doing that. I knew that they were looking at something and trying to figure it out. So by the time I got up to them, I just said, "Excuse me, can I help you?" And they just looked at me, Americans, and they said we were. Anyway, I told them about what they were looking at, So they went, "Wow," and they said. This is a wonderful. It was empty, you see, because I was the only one who's supposed to be there. But they let these people in, this group of people. It's only about 7 or 8 of them. And anyway, I said, "Yeah, come with me." I said, "I've got to go give a sound check." So I went along into the room, the concert room, and they sat down. They looked, and they were just. So I went into the thing, where you climb the stairs and steps and just go on the stage. And I was 1, 2, 3, 4. You're all right, Frank? Yeah, that's great. Now, okay, that's great. Anyway, this group of people thought I was a singer. Give it a sound check, because I was a singer. I said no. I said,
Yo, giving it all.
and I said, listen, I said, I've got a couple of hours. I said, seeing that you're American, I said, do you want me to show you some places with American connection? They went, yeah, sure. And they were on the way to Manchester, but they were getting picked up in a couple of hours. I said, come on, I'll show you. So anyway, I showed them around a few American connections, and they were absolutely delighted. Anyway, I had a DVD for someone, and they weren't there. I was waiting outside St. George's Hall. This fella never shows up. So I said, oh, fuck. Anyway, this person, I was talking, like I've made DVDs, and they said, have you got any on yet? I said, no. I said, I've got one, though. I said, you can have. And this girl, there was only a girl, she was tiny, but she had this big floppy hat on, big wide brim, a bandana around, and huge sunglasses. And she said, can you sign it? I went, yeah. And anyway, she said, pay him. I said, no, you're not. She said, pay him to this fella. And this fella only had £20 notes. I said, well, I've got no change, I'm sorry. So he gave me he said, no, don't be bothered. And do you know who it was? And I signed it for her. I said to Gloria, best wishes, Frank Carlyle. Gloria, this stuff. Yeah.
Lainey loves it.
Didn't even recognise her.
Wow.
She'd been peering at the tent. Remember when we know the
Oh yeah, the small pups.
yeah, summer pops, yeah.
Wow.
How about that?
We get around, don't we?
Yeah, we certainly do. So listen, mister, can you answer that particular question?
It's just from Polo.
Yeah.
Polo, yes. It depends. Yes, I have in the conventional sense, but it also, Frank and I have a thing. It depends what you mean as famous, because everyone is famous to us. There's no, but yes, I did. When we were doing the 100 Heads, and we needed money to pay the rent for the studio we were in, which is the studio we met, Hanover Galleries. I was asked to paint the portrait of a lovely guy, a motor racing legend and ex-drummer. There you go, Frank.
And there's me. He painted me.
I did.
Me.
That's fun, isn't it?
Couldn't believe it. Couldn't believe it. Lovely.
Yeah.
You see so many things. So many things have happened to me. Good things, bad things as well. But that's one of the most.
It's life, isn't it?
Yeah, the most humblest things, that to be chosen as the 100 Heads, one of the 100 Heads, because some of the 100 Heads.
And we've met
amazing.
Because Lainey, my beautiful wife, and I had started we became big fans of Frank, and it wasn't easy sometimes. It was my mum who died in 2005, the end of 2005. She said, there's a guy you really, really would love. You got to listen to this guy. He's on Radio Merseyside, and you were on at the time initially with Snelly.
Tony Snell, yeah.
And then, so we said, okay, we'll check them out. And then we started the project. And then the project became a dedication to my mum. And we moved into Hanover Galleries, turned the radio on, which was set at Radio Merseyside. And there you are. And that was like, Jesus, that's the guy Mum talked about. So we listened, and then I painted. And then we listened the next week, and I painted. And then we listened the week after, and I said to Lainey, I've got to get this guy in, you know. And no one knew what we were doing. There was no show of work. Although I'd shown work of different sorts and stuff. None of this. So I phoned Radio Merseyside, said, listen, I really need to speak to Frank Carlyle. Is it possible? Who are you? Told them who it was, told them what it was about. Okay. So the phone went down like that, nothing. So a couple of days later, did the same thing again. And there was a different lady on the phone, and I said, excuse me, is it possible to speak to Frank Carlyle? And she said, who are you? Again, bit suspicious, rightly so. And I explained, does he know you? And I said, no, he doesn't know me. Phone goes down. I think it was about 3 or 4 times. And then the last one was to pass the message on to you. Because I'm working away. Lainey had made a pot of tea, and you walk in or you knock on the door. No, I'm Frank. And of course, the voice. I knew you were Frank. I said, come in. This is what we're doing. This is what I want to do. This is what it's all about. And you were immediately on it. You know, you were great. So I sat down, cup of tea in one hand, and a glass of grouse in the other.
And a drop in my cup, you did, didn't you? You went,
there you go.
That's down, your skull's out. Okay.
Yeah.
And I met one of my, in fact, my favourite actor of Liverpool, and even Stephen Graham said to me, the greatest actor to come out of Liverpool is Drew Schofield. And I met him that day. And it's as though, first time I ever met Drew, shook hands, and it's as though I'd known him for years.
Yeah, that's what he's like. You might not remember, but as you walked in the back room, because I was kind of hiding in the back room of Hanover Galleries with the front lights turned out, because we were doing it. We didn't particularly want anyone to come in and say, what are you doing? You know, but there was an amplifier in the corner with 2 guitars. There he is.
There's Drew.
There he is. My loveliest, greatest friend for nearly 40 years. And those 2 guitars in the room were for when he had a break. And he'd come in, we'd make a pot of tea, and we'd just play music.
Isn't that great? You know, and as I said, you know, that's the first time I ever met Drew, and Drew's been a friend ever since. Great actor, and I'm not saying it. As Stephen Graham, when he said to me, he said, no, the greatest actor to come out of Liverpool is Drew Schofield. Because we'd been to see a play together, him and Stephen Fletcher. Brilliant. Anyway, go on about...
There's no sides. Is there, Frank? No sides.
Yeah. No sides whatsoever. And Tingling
so
says... oh, come on.
We bonded...
Says, good evening to all. Tingling.
Oh, Tingling. Good evening to all. Good evening to you.
Tingling. tingling.
Owen,
Owen. Even if Frank Anthony and chat up everyone as well. Isn't that
we
lovely?
do too, Owen. We're good. Hope you are.
And the droopy dog says, I'm sitting here, a program on my PC, with the velvet interesting chat of Frank and Anthony pouring honey on my, what's that? Logos.
We go, Deb. We've all got two of them.
I put Lauren wouldn't know what Logos is.
Thank you, Droopy Dog. That's cool. Well, forgive us our sometime indulgences, but it makes us what we are.
What a comment Tingling says. He says, oh shit, no, it'd be he won't. History learned is a stepping stone to the future. That's brilliant. That's what we try to do.
Absolutely.
Isn't that brilliant? Because we as I said, see, it's not just history, it's the history of literature, Tingling. Because, look, you've got Shakespeare. He came out with the, in my opinion, one of the greatest quotes ever. When he said, I think it's brilliant. What a terrible era we live in, while idiots are governing the blind. And that applies to today.
Yeah, big time.
Idiots governing the blind. We're blind.
Yeah.
And the unfortunate thing is we can't say anything. We cannot say nothing.
Yeah.
Unless you can end up in jail.
No.
Which is shocking.
You can't. And there's Charlotte Bronte in that reasonably unattended piece of worship when she said, and the most important thing to these people is status and wealth. Today.
Status and wealth. That's all it is. And it applies today. It's gone to these billionaires. If you're in the billionaire club, you're fine. And people are making money hand over fist every single day because of wars, as you know.
Absolutely. There should not be a starving child, and there should not be a billionaire. Why are you a billionaire?
Exactly. And Lee Johnson, laughing out loud there, he says, Frank, brilliant. You know what I said about will it weigh him down? You know, the pullover if he wears it.
Yeah.
Because of all the anchors. He says, that was 45 quid. I bet you that weighs you down, doesn't it? It weighs your wallet down. And Singling says, Frank, you should try. I can't see this. I really can't. I've got
Rubus tea.
What's that? Rubus
tea.
Oh, Red Bush tea. Just saying. I've never heard of it. Rubus. Is that? Have I said that right?
This in relation to the beer festival, Tingling.
Most probably.
I always found that lying down for 4 days helped, but not always.
I know there says, watch Vivaldi's Four Seasons set to lights laying down on a beanbag in St. George's Hall. It was fantastic. I wanted my granddaughter to, I can't move, you see, unfortunately. If I would have been fit enough, I would have brought her. I wanted my granddaughter to see that. She's 13 years of age. She loves musicals and everything. And I said to her mother, I said, she'd love that.
Yeah.
And she said, she mightn't, you know, Dad. But I would have brought her. I just said, come on, you come with me. And I would have loved that. Vivaldi, Four Seasons, lying on a beanbag, you know, the lights. Nothing better than lights. I envy you, Owen. Envy you.
Lifetime memory.
And ting, is that tingling or tighting? Ting, ting. Oh, it's ting, ting. It's ting, ting. I just seen the T there. Right. If do not learn from history, then the wheels turn, not going forward, but backwards. That's another cracker because it's static. It waits for the past to catch up with us, and it starts all over again.
Yeah. There's also the could you combat the people who historically are fed off others, and it reaches a point and you say they're doing the same thing again because it suits them again, like now.
It's only what Blake said, isn't it? When he said it coincides with Shakespeare, you know, idiots governing the blind, and also with what Charlotte Bronte said about, you know, money mattered, and the poor, you know, were totally ignored, and the unfortunate. And it goes back to this, what William Blake said. And he said, didn't he, you know, with Charlotte Bronte saying about the church and that, you know, wearing masks. I think that's a powerful line. Wearing masks
Yes.
of bigotry and cruelty. Think about that. And William Blake, when he had a go at the elite, at the system, when he said, as the hapless soldier sighs, as blood runs down palace walls, and the blackening church appalls. Meaning, you know, the church is black with sin, allowing this.
Yeah.
Allowing it, and the poor soldiers there looking at the elite who sends them to wars to die. You know, it's incredible as blood runs down palace walls.
It is.
It's just like what our great First World War poet said.
Yes.
When he said, Anthem for Doomed Youth, you only got to look at the title. Anthem for Doomed Youth. It's an anthem. And the first two lines, what passing bells for these who die as cattle? Only the monstrous anger of the guns can patter out their hasty orisons. Meaning they're going over the top. The hasty orisons are, you know, the prayers that they're saying in haste. Oh, please God help me. Oh, please God help me. And ends up dead.
Yeah.
So God help.
The only strength you can draw from that is that there were and there are people who are inspired by that to do theirs. And I'm talking about people like Eric Blair, as we know, better obviously as George Orwell, who've been through that service to king, queen, or country, and then come out thinking that's not right, and then wrote some of the greatest pieces of work ever. One when he was dying, and he knew he was dying, which is the greatest proclamation on the fight against injustice, which is 1984.
And, one of his quotes as well, I think it comes from 1984, when he said, "Some ideas are so stupid that only intellectuals believe in."
Yeah. Yeah.
Some ideas are so stupid that only the intellectuals believe in.
Yeah.
George Orwell. George Orwell.
Yeah.
And you've got Boris Johnson trying to make a comeback by saying that British soldiers should be in Ukraine. Now, when you look at, he scuppered a peace deal.
Yes.
In the April of 2022. When you look today, never mind the propaganda that Leo Tolstoy said about history would be a wonderful thing if it was true, but the propaganda just spoils everything.
Yeah. Well,
And
Boris millions, didn't he?
Yeah,
Boris,
1.9 million
from Hungary.
Ukrainians.
Yeah.
1.9 million soldiers.
The only thing that I would put him in charge of is a lavatory cleaner. He's not of a library ticket or the bus tickets. He's a nuisance to humanity, if not worse.
There's nothing worse. There's nothing worse, Anthony. Steve Mulholland. That's brilliant, Hans. Did you enter the John Moores Painting Prize? Oh.
I did one in 1990, Steve. Didn't get any acknowledgement back. Didn't get any anything. No. So it's a weird. And I sound like I'm banging the same drum, but it's a class thing. I have seen some absolutely. I don't mix in the company of artists. I don't really. It's just been that way. Lainey and I have the family and our friends, and I would rather get inspired by sitting with Frank talking history, or talking with the likes of Drew, which inspire different things. I don't want to sit with another artist who says, well, fundamentally, to get that fine blue, you need to... Jeez, I'm gone. I'm bored shedless. But there is a class system in the arts, as there is in any, did I say any occupation? If you're not...
Yeah, absolutely. Any occupation, there's a class system. I should have been doing a series with Neil Oliver, the historian from Scotland, the lads with the long hair. And the head of the BBC said, "Oh, we can't have him. Have you listened to his accent?" Me. But, it's anything. It's like a fella named Hardy in the mid-19th century, going into the latter part of the century, the 1800s. And he was looking at paintings and he went, oh yes, wonderful. And the thing is, and it's a name. He said, "Oh, Shirley, he never painted that. No, that's no good." A fella's name was Grimshaw. Comes from the north of England. "Oh, no, they can't paint. No, Grimshaw. What kind of name is Grimshaw?"
Can't possibly.
Exactly. and that's in London. That was a big art critic in London. And then you've got to go to Da Vinci. Da Vinci.
Yeah.
And you know, it's not only the art of Da Vinci, but the art of that Grimshaw. But also, you've got to look at John Keats, one of the greatest poets of all time. William Blake, one of the greatest poets and artists of all time, by the way, as well. And they were ignored by the elite.
Because they didn't toe the line, doff their cap. See? And it still applies now. You know, Laney and I's story of recent years, the visits to London, the gallery scene, the people, oh, Anthony, we can make you a fortune. And then reading between the small print, and say, I'm not signing that. Cough.
Well, there's Toscana saying, any news on you, Anthony, displaying your artwork? Are we
Yes.
just talking about it? Go on, tell her.
Yes, our dear Toscana, there is. It will open up the first couple of weeks in April, and it will be there for 5 months. So Frank and I will dip in, dip out. Whenever there's a kettle boiled, we might be there. Or if there's a beer tasting, we'll definitely be there. But yeah, it opens up then. Once all the details, and I'm still painting towards it, and I've got some publicity work to do. And if our great friend my great friend Jason, our show's producer, is willing, I'll bounce some stuff to him, and he can put it up, and it will be free of charge. We never, ever, ever want to instill any charge or obligation to anyone who wants to come in. And Frank and I will talk about the days that we're going to be there.
Yeah, so you've got to make your way. See, don't forget, she looks after her lad, and she gets a respite, and she can come down. So we'll see when her respite is, and we'll make sure that we'll be there.
It will be. It's a bit out of the way in terms of Liverpool city centre, because it's over the water, short trip, and it's at Port Sunlight Village. And there's a wonderful cottage there, which is to be filled with Anthony Brown's work, I believe. So
Be great.
for that,
Great. And listen to this, Owen Lee. My eyes are going, you know. Owen says, used to drink in the casa. The everyman cast used to rehearse in the back.
yeah,
We'd occasionally get dragged into a crowd scene by Andrew Schofield, a really funny and generous lad.
still is that same person. It's been the biggest part of my heart for 40 years.
And just seeing what Jason put there. Hang on. That says, Anthony, you're right. Terrible. We live at a time children starve. The UN voted that food was a human right to all. All voted yes, and only 2 countries voted no in caps. I was a veto country, so it didn't pass. Was a veto country, and I know those. I'll tell you who they were: Israel
Yeah,
and America.
we know what it is. We know what it is. You walk into to any shop, doesn't have to be a supermarket, although supermarkets are in general owned by investment cartels who are
Honestly, go on. I'm sorry, Anthony. I thought you finished.
No, sorry, Frank. You go on.
I know it's upsetting. I know.
Do you know what
John,
comes to mind? It's a quote that you George Bernard Shaw, when he talked in particular about Ireland, but now
oh,
the
how
world.
could the country? How could there be a famine when the country was full of food? Says everything.
Like now,
Exactly.
we're a farming nation, but most people can't afford to buy stuff to feed the family.
That's why there's food banks.
Yes.
Have you ever known anything? Food banks. People are still getting paid a pittance. People working, going to food banks.
Yeah.
They're working. Nurses going to food banks.
That's what Charlotte Bronte was writing in 1840 or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
40.
The mid-19th century. And Dickens. John said, I started Jane Eyre at the weekend and I never got past the preface. There you go.
Okay. No.
And Jason, did you hear what he says? Frank, I'd pay good money to see you trying to get off a beanbag.
That's just from our own manager to get that. Now we know what Mo Salah's going through. Oh.
Ting-ting's going. Good night, Frank and friends. See you on Friday. All right, Ting-ting. Oh,
Good night, Ting.
Ting-ting. What a name.
Ting.
And Donna says, where is he? Give us a lift, Frank. Frank hasn't got a car. Frank can't. I have my license revoked, unfortunately, so I can't drive. I'll try and get my daughter to pick me up. She'll bring me over.
We'll be picking you
up. Toscana says, that's brilliant. As soon as dates are finalised, I will book my son's respite. I'll drive. Oh, yes, she can drive, yeah. I've Googled Port Sunlight. She's already Googled it.
It's not a million miles. It's only a short journey through Toscana. And we're there for 5 months. The show is there for 5 months. So if you had a day in mind, let Frank know or us know, and we'll be there to meet you.
That's right. That's true.
No bean bags.
No bean bags at all.
No.
No lights for bean bags. No Vivaldi's Four Seasons.
Cheers, cup of tea in a cup.
Great that though, isn't it? He's got a cheek though, hasn't he?
And hopefully we'll have our Jason with us for a couple of times, whenever fits in with him.
Steve, no, Steve, you get in touch with me, mate. I can use my bus pass on Merseyrail to get there. I have given. Do you know where that Port Sunlight stuff? I've given a talk over there, haven't I? I forget what it was. It was Lord Leverhulme's, like a social thing, wasn't it? Club.
You gave a talk in the kind of social club, because you have a bowling green a theatre and all the stuff which he laid out in his original plans. But you did, yeah, you packed a house. Damien and I couldn't get in. The knock on the door. This guy was saying, what you want? Our friends are giving us a talk. He's invited us along. All right. I didn't rattle the keys. Let us in. And then we got in just before you started, yeah.
I've got a video, only a small light on myself. And I was looking at it the other day, I didn't even know I had it. And I can't find it, so I was showed you it. It was that same fella. He hired me in. He said, would you come along? I said, yeah, come along.
Oh, the key holder.
I don't think I've got it, though, to be honest. I don't know how to get it. I don't know how to get to it. You know, the video of the thing, you know. I don't know how to get to it. I don't know how we got on this, in all honesty. You know, the video, I would have showed you it now.
Yeah.
But I could have gave it to, it's only that fella talking, you know, to the people. And you sitting down with lady.
Yeah.
Couple of people, I don't know anyway. But I can't get it. It was just a fluke that came up.
Well, if it comes up again, you have to, you know, put it up or send it to me. But it was a great guy. You know, did a great show.
I really haven't a clue how to get it. I don't know how we got it. I must have put my thumb on something and it came up. Just having a clue. But I will. I'll have a look for it. Give it to Jason and can put it up.
Okay. Well, just as a small input, Jason sent us a wonderful little 10-minute snip of one of our favourite local heroes, architect.
Yeah.
Did you get a chance to see it yourself? Or?
Do you know what? No. Do you know what I want to talk about? Not now. It'll have to be next week because we haven't got much time. I want to talk about. It'll have to be next week.
Yeah. Yeah. Peter Mandelson.
So we'll talk about him next week, which is a must.
Yes.
Which is a must. Do you ever remember the Duke of Clarence?
Yeah.
He was one of the suspects.
Yeah.
Now, even people at the time were saying, oh, yeah, he did it, you know, he did it. Right?
Yeah.
Then you had other people, the elite, saying that we wouldn't do things like that. We wouldn't go around and look at Prince Andrew today. See what I mean?
Yes, I do.
Do you think he'd go to jail, Anthony?
No.
No.
It's like convicted criminals, and one comes to mind is Jeffrey Archer, who broke the law, was convicted of breaking the law. Did he lose his lordship, his peerage, his status,
No.
his wealth?
No.
Yet Lester Piggott, who was a hero to many, was a working class hero.
Stripped off loads, got everything taken off.
Yeah, was done for tax evasion, was stripped of everything, made a show of.
Do you know where tax evasion? In this country, I'm not talking about any other country. And you know, they used to bring in the Queen's head. And they used to say with tax evaders, you have stolen the Queen's head. That's a heinous crime. And that's how they went to jail. But the likes of these elite, like Jeffrey Archer. See, one of the lads said, what books do you recommend? You know, he did write good books, but I wouldn't even pay attention to Jeffrey Archer for what he did.
No, I won't.
For what he, you know, he went to the, I don't know what station it was, and handed over £2,000, which was a lot of money then. £2,000 to a woman, a prostitute. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
What for? Why did he go to her? And he said that she needed it. Come on.
But then, if you go through the entire cabinet of Thatcher, they were all confronted with it to say, you know what a shower of perverts you've got here? And she said, boys will be boys.
I wonder how the old Queen, because that Andrew was her favourite.
Yeah.
I wonder what she'd be thinking.
I don't know.
Do you know, and I'll tell you something else as well. I think they wanted to arrest him then while she was alive.
I think you're right.
And they waited, you know. And then, you know, she died. And then, you know, they never right away, you know, they wait till he became king, wait till he was like settled into kingdom, Charles, and then bang, let's arrest him.
Yeah.
Because if they was arrested him and the Queen would have died, what would have been said?
You know what, Frank? It opens up the doors, and history, once you know the truth, it's like looking down a long, long tunnel. And I think it's nothing new. And I think there are many subservients. Lord Frank and Lord Anthony and their ladies who own mansion houses in the hills, who open up their homes to say, let the parties begin. And you've only got to watch that opening scene in Sherlock Holmes, the
Hounds of the Baskervilles.
yes.
Where they're running after the maid.
Well, the girl is the hunt.
Yes, she's the hunt.
It's not changed since then. And William Blake was calling it out then. And they said, oh, he's a madman. He's a madman. Take no notice of him. He's a madman. There are people calling it out now, but we don't hear about them because guess what? Who owns the media? No fairness in the media. No justice in the media.
Donna says, I'm going now, but I'd like to ask you if my next read should be Wuthering Heights or Mansfield Park, which would you recommend? Wuthering Heights. So she never got past the preface of Jane Eyre. Jane Eyre is my favourite novel. And she never got past the preface, and she's asking, you know, whether it'll be Wuthering Heights. Wuthering Heights is absolutely brilliant.
I would also love another one in, which is which is Dickens's great work, which we've talked about oftentimes, and you've talked about, because a lot of it is centred and written from Liverpool, from sitting on Everton Hill, having a bag of mints, and then observing it, and it became Hard Times.
Hard times. And it sums up everything. Everything about a working class man being ostracised by his fellow workers. By his fellow workers. You've got a factory owner, Bounderby, horrible man. You've got you've got a headmaster, Grind, and he's just using facts, but he's learning those boys to work, to be subservient, to be honest, to Bounderby and work in his factory. So he's there for that. But you've got a girl named Louise Grind, who's the daughter of Bounderby. I'm sorry, Grind. And Bounderby has always fancied her from a child. So what's that telling you? He ends up marrying her. He ends up marrying Louise. So this is what goes on, or what went on during the 19th century. Because the 19th century is historically known as the century of paedophiles. You've only got to look at Fagin.
Yes.
The vlogs, even then Frank and Anthony and everyone, even the vlogs. And the repat says, I agree with you, Frank, makes sense. He got a Queen's pass. She seemed to be wiser than this generation of royals. She lived and saw a lot growing up. That's a crack of that repat, and I'll tell you for why. She became the longest serving queen. The longest serving queen. What you've got to ask yourself is, well, why didn't she retire years ago? Why didn't she let Charles become king? Because she knew. And it's only what you've put there. She seemed to be wiser than this generation of royals. And you know what I think as well? If the monarchy gets over this, or if it starts to crumble, the elites will want to keep the monarchy going. And they might, just might, look towards the Norfolks, who are the rightful owners to the throne, historically. Not this lot today.
Yeah, I think that's a great point, but I looking at what's going on at the moment, I think William will scale things down. So the hangers on, the leeches, will be ostracized. So in turn, I have a vision of the hypocrisy and the absolute cruelty and debauchery that's shown to the unfortunates in this country will also scale down, because there's no royal seal of approval.
No, not now. And I don't think even William will save them. To be honest with Kate Middleton, I don't really think that they would save this. Say they will look at this royal household, and William is part of the household, You've got the likes of Harry. Harry is a complete and utter idiot. His wife has left him with 2 children, and they're not his. And he can't leave America until those children are 18 years of age. And she's ran off with a multi-billionaire Arab.
That's Harry's choice, isn't it?
Well, that's his choice, yeah.
I'm
But
looking.
it's stigmatized. Come on, sorry.
I'm looking at places like Sweden. You know, the scale of rules down to that sense. To have a token head.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I think they'd have to have a token head in this country. They shouldn't, you know, they should do away with it, but we're fighting against the elites here. We're fighting against the monarchs.
The billionaires.
Right? Oh, yeah. So to have a figure out, I think they'd have to go and look and just blast it out that, you know, King Charles wasn't really the rightful owner. And they can go back through history like I do. And it was from King Henry VII that the line goes straight through to the Norfolks. And don't forget as well, every time the Queen signs a document, and now Charles signs a document, it has to be countersigned by the Norfolks because they're the rightful owners to the throne. And do you know why they can't be? Do you know why they're not there?
No.
Because they wouldn't give up their faith, and that's Catholicism, the Catholic. And as you know, no Catholic should hold high office. That means they can't become king or queen. Not only that, but in the realms of politicians, they cannot become prime minister nor chancellor of the exchequer, a Catholic. But the way the elites work, the way these monarchists work, yeah, there's it. Camilla was a Catholic. She denounced the faith to marry Charles. So she became Church of England, whereas she was Church of Rome. See what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a lot going on. There's really a lot going on. Donna says, I'll get back to Jane here. If you don't read it, I'll be very disappointed. And Toscana says, I always laugh when Sarah Fergie gets mentioned as she chatted up my son when he was working for BA, and put her hands on his knee, and that's what crew got up to town route. Oh, go away. She's a right one here.
Yeah.
She was. Do you ever remember years ago, Anthony, when it was blasted all over the papers that she was with this billionaire on the beach sucking his toe?
Yeah. I do. Yeah.
So that tells you what kind of a person she was.
Yes.
And our Steve, my old mate's going, hi Frank, see you on Friday. Watching the second half of the friendly derby. Good man, Steve. I think all Liverpool supporters will be Evertonians tonight because they're playing Man U. And Mark Simon says Bruce Robinson's book called They All Love Jack, which was the title of a song written by James Maybrick's brother Michael, who was a master mason and who Bruce cites as the real Ripper.
Yeah.
Well, Mark, look out for me next week.
Okay. Well, interestingly, Bruce Robinson is a writer, a screenwriter, and one of his biggest works was The Killing Fields, way back in the 80s.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant. That I think his name was Angan or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, the lads in it, you know, the Vietnamese lad.
Yes.
And he was murdered, him. He was killed. He was murdered.
Oh my God.
Actually murdered. Do you ever remember Mind Your Language?
Yes.
Do you ever remember the lads in it? The teacher?
Teacher.
Yeah.
Yes.
Very funny. Very funny, Barry. Forget his second name. Do you know how he died?
It's the old story we talked about, that work dried up as an actor
Yes.
and he turned to taxi driving, didn't he?
Yes. And he was murdered for his takings. Barry Evans, his name is. Barry Evans.
Right. Yeah.
Donna says, I'm off to read Jane Eyre, honest Frank. Will I get lines if I don't? Good night, everybody. No, you get more than lines off me.
You get attention, Donna.
Will I get lines? I've given lines out before now. That's brilliant. Freedom. Hey, freedom. Hey up, everyone. Donna, I just finished reading Jane Eyre at the weekend. Thanks to Frank and Anthony recommending it. Superb on many levels. Says Freedom Jane.
That's nice. What we're all about sharing. That's what it's about.
That's what we do, you see. That's what we do. We try to recommend things. And we try to, as I said, look out for me next week. Well, look out for us next week, because I'll tell you what, Anthony. I'm doing a football show tomorrow. I don't know when Liverpool playing this week. But anyway, how about doing Jack the Rip on Thursday with me?
It's great with me, Frank.
Is that all right with you?
That's great with me.
Excellent stuff. So, Thursday, people. Thursday. And the Ripper says, do you think there's any truth in the Ripper being a guy, Aaron Kaminsky? No. He was an actor. He stays over in New Brighton. Just listen out for me, Ripper, on Thursday. And Anthony, okay? Just listen to us. And it's all about the Ripper. And I remember Tom Slemon saying, he listened to me, you know.
Yeah.
And I forget where I was doing it. And he said to me, he said, Frank, can I use that? I said, no. I said, the thing is, Tom, if I give you the reason, the permission to say something, in your book and whatever, I said, not only that, but you're also right for the Echo over weekends. This was at the time. I don't know whether he still writes for the Echo, I don't know. I said, and you just come out with it, and that's the end of my lectures.
It's gone. People
said,
says,
do you listen to you? I said, no.
Yeah.
I said, no. They wouldn't listen to me there.
It's also like there's a piece of work you painted, and people like it, so turn it into 52,000 prints, and then it lessens the impact of the original. Oh yeah, I've seen that. I've got that. Yeah.
I tell you what, I know there's matches, isn't there? I think the second rounds this week of the European Cup. So we'll have us on. I was going to say Wednesday, but no, they'll be showing the bloody matches. We'll have us on Thursday, Jack the Ripper. Are you all right with that?
I'm good with that. If that's good with you, yeah.
It's good. It's great with me, to be honest, because we were going to do it tonight, weren't we?
We were, but you know what? We've walked down different roads tonight, and I'm glad we did. You know, with you, Jack. I'm all right, Jack.
So we'll do that, and yeah, Thursday, 7:00.
7:00.
I was off last Thursday, wasn't I?
For the one and only Thursday you've had off for about 6 months.
I'm going to be off this Wednesday as well.
This Wednesday is your day with the doc? No?
I'm going to, hang on a minute, I'm going to ask Christopher something, if he's still with us. Christopher, is there any European matches on Wednesday? Let me know right away, please. Because he says about our match. Next match, Liverpool, Saturday 28th. But let me know, Christopher, please. Let me know now, before we finish, if there's any European second legs being played.
If not, have Wednesday off.
Yeah, I know. Lord, hang on. Mark says, was Hanover Gallery facing the Golden Phoenix restaurant on the corner, run by a Greek Cypriot guy, Anthony?
It was kind of, just further along from that, Mark. It was facing a wonderful Italian building, which they were going to demolish, and then they reconstructed, or they supported and turned into a shop. Cassatelli?
Cassatelli, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, look at Lauren. Yes, there are 4 games. Thank you, Lauren. That's brilliant. Thank you, Lauren. Thank you. Lauren, please, don't be nervous tomorrow.
No.
Don't be nervous. Think of what Anthony and myself have said.
You've got us in your corner.
And all the chat have been saying. Even little Johnny has been saying.
Everyone.
So don't be nervous, please. For our sakes. And let us know how you got on.
Yeah.
Let us know. You have to, because we'll be worried. Like we worry about a lot of things. And me. Frank, am I remembering correctly? Wasn't there a line written in chalk that was wiped out? Yes. Are we taught? The Jews will not be blamed for nothing. That's what was written. Just listen to us. Just listen. Please listen to us on Thursday, because I can't do the Wednesday. And that's what was written. The Jews will not be blamed for nothing. But I'll explain that, because it's not just like the Jews will not be blamed for nothing. There's more to it than that. Believe me. Believe me. Honestly. And it was the way it was written. See, when someone writes, what people tend to forget is it's like what I mentioned about Jane Eyre, about the bigotry, about the status, about the poor.
Yeah.
They just bypass it. And I'm not saying, please don't get me wrong, but it doesn't. In that opening little paragraph, it tells you everything.
Yeah.
What's going to happen. It's just like what the great Shakespeare said.
Yeah.
Hell is empty. All the devils are here. Think about it.
Yeah.
Think about it. Little Lauren again. Atalanta, Dortmund, Juventus, Galatasaray, PSG, Monaco, Real Madrid, Benfica. Oh. Yeah, so that's why I won't be doing it. To be more, listening to that and watching it. I'm
Heavy
gonna
night.
watch that Real Madrid and Benfica myself, to be honest. Ah, lovely, Lauren. I will try, lovelies. You will try. I know you will.
Just be yourself.
That's all we ask you for, Lauren. Just be yourself. Be a polite young lady, as you are. And Christopher says, yeah, Frank, there is. And all the second legs being played Tuesday and Wednesday this week. Thank you. Thank you. Spot on there, mate. Spot on there, Owen. Yes. And I'll explain that. I will explain that. That's what I do. Just remember a film that Michael Caine, as the detective, says, Owen Lee. Yeah, when he's going, yeah. Nothing against Caine, don't like him, like, he's a greedy bastard. I always remember him doing Jaws 3, and he said, I don't want my name associated with it. And someone just asked, well, why did you do it? If you knew that it was bad, a bad script, and it'll fail, at the box office. It'll bomb at the box office. And he said it was the money. That to me is greed.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, fuck you. And that's me for tonight. Anthony, can I give you a quick bell?
Of course you can, Frank. Yep.
Thank you. Thank you. What do you think tonight?
I loved it. Again, a little gentle meander through then and now.
It was great tonight.
Yeah.
Again, we have plans to do a thing. Just go bang off on a tangent.
Yeah.
But a great tangent.
Yeah. Great contribution by all the guys. Great questions, observations.
Brilliant. And even little John Taylor, see?
Yeah.
I never got past the preface. I'm gonna read it now. Get back to it,
No.
myself.
Been bullied.
Lovely lady. Lovely lady. And Christopher, night Frank and Anthony and everyone up the history Reds.
Good night, Christopher. Thank you.
Cheers, mate. You're a good man. They're all good people, aren't they?
Yeah.
And Owen Lee. Good night, you all, and take care. Thank you, everyone, for your company. Isn't that lovely?
That's great. And same to you, Owen. That's brilliant.
That's lovely, though.
Show without you.
And there's the comedian in our fold, Jason. Night,
Yeah.
Jen. Night, you all.
Night, Jason. Thank you. Thank
Jason
you.
and the beanbag guy. I'll never forget that, Anthony. Never forget that. Love to see you get that. Pay all the money to see you getting off a beanbag. Really? And the red part. Thanks for the lessons, Frank and Anthony. It's a great pleasure.
Red Path. Thank you.
No, thank you, Red Pat. You're a good man. And I just want to finish on these wonderful people. And it's Gap Painting Services who sponsor all the pods, every pod, whether it's football, whether it's conspiracy theories and current affairs, history especially, sponsoring the Frank Carlyle and Anthony Brown History Show. Gap Painting Services, they're fully time served, they're fully insured. So if anything does go wrong, they're insured. It'll be replaced, whatever. If you're an NHS worker and an elderly couple or an elderly person on your own, don't worry about that. You get a special discount. But even if you're not one of those, just ask for a price without any obligation. And they are first class people. I know because I've had them in myself. That's Gap Painting Services. So I'll give you the little bell in a moment or two.
Just fab. Put your kettle on. Tea in the
Yeah.
oven.
Yes, I am. You know, I can't bend down there, you know. I dropped my tablets. You know, we pain relievers. You can't see painkillers. And I can't get them. Let's see. Yeah, got them. Hang on a minute. Oh. Thank God for that.
You got them?
Yeah, got them. Just picked them up.
Yeah.
Thank God. So anyway, I'll give you the ring. People, thank you so much for everything, for joining us. Honestly. And the report says, I'm sure we will get discounts if we throw your name in the hat. You would. You would. You will, honestly. And I know Lindsay Ellis, she's getting them in. She's getting them in when the weather gets a bit warm or something like that.
Yeah.
And she's having them in. And Rep Pat. Good night, fellas. Good night, Rep Pat.
Good night,
Don't
Rep.
forget.
See you next time.
See you on Thursday, eh? hopefully. And Mark Simons. Good night. God bless. Thank you, Mark. Good night to you. And it's good night from Jason, simply because Jason, without Jason, there'd be no show.
He's the backbeat.
He is, he's there, you know, he does everything for us.
Yeah.
And but the most important thing, the most important people, who is it, Anthony?
It's our lovely chat family, all of you guys who contribute. It's it takes us. We never have a script. Frank and I might talk every once in a while about a subject, but it's kind of you guys that determine the show.
It is. See, I think that's a nice comment what you've just come out with, because we set out to talk about Jack the Ripper.
Yeah.
And the way the chat went, it went to different subjects. And that's what we were talking about. That's why it's so important on every podcast that the comments are read out. It's very important. And other people, you know, unfortunately, they don't read comments out. And you have to pay for some. You know, there are some podcasts that if you want a comment put up for about 3 seconds, you've got to pay a fee.
Yeah.
A super chat or whatever they're called. I don't do that. Anthony doesn't do that.
We've known each other for a long time. It will never ever be a point where if I'm doing showing work or whatever, anyone will pay to come in. I won't have it. You don't?
No, absolutely not. This is why we just talk, don't we? We read out the comments. Like a little Lauren there, you know, she said she was nervous. And don't be nervous, sweetheart, honestly. Think about us, think about the people on your chat. Because she's a regular, she comes on, she comments, and just listens in. So don't be worrying about your school tomorrow, sweetheart. Honestly, don't. Because we'll always be thinking about you. And you'll have to let us know how you got on. Anyway, Anthony, thank you for tonight.
Thank you, Frank, as ever. Thank you, Jason. And thank you, one and all, for joining us, joining me.
Yeah, keeping Anthony and myself company. Thank you so much. And hopefully I'll see you football fans tomorrow. Definitely the Ripper fans on Thursday. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Speak to you later on, Anthony.
Well,
Bye, everybody. Bye.
Good night, all.